Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's journey to becoming one of the greatest, most beloved pro wrestlers and an in-demand actor was a bumpy one, and he took a couple of women along for the tumultuous ride. Behind the bulging biceps, six-pack abs, and that megawatt smile, he's carrying secrets that have wreaked havoc on his life. We smell what The Rock is cooking, and it's a hot, stinking mess. Thankfully, he was able to turn his life around, and we're going to show you how. I don't know about y'all, but whenever I start digging into other people's business, I get hungry, and our concession stand over at rrgsnacks.com hits the spot. Enjoy 40% off your entire order during our Black Friday sale, and stock up on cookies and cream popcorn, barbecue bacon jerky, and green apple licorice. All of our RRG besties know that we love us a good backstory, so for this video, we have to take you way back to the day he was born, on May 2nd, 1972. So yes, he's a Taurus, if you're into that sort of thing. He was born in California to a Samoan mother, and his dad, Rocky Johnson, was one of the first African Americans in pro wrestling. Dwayne's maternal grandfather, the late Peter Maivia, was also a wrestler. In other words, wrestling was ingrained in his DNA. The family moved all over the country, from Florida to Tennessee to Georgia, Hawaii, and Pennsylvania. At the age of 13, his father lost the family's life savings. They eventually got evicted and their car got repossessed. His dad hit the bottle, and his mom faced mental health struggles. He told Express website that at the age of 15, he and his mom were driving on the interstate in Nashville when she got out of the car and walked into oncoming traffic in an attempt to take her own life. Dwayne watched in horror as big rigs and cars swerved around her. He was eventually able to grab her and pull her onto the side of the road. While the incident still haunts him, he told the website, "What's crazy about that attempt is that to this day she has no recollection of it whatsoever. Probably best she doesn't." His father's alleged mistress told Star magazine that Dwayne didn't get to see his dad a lot while growing up because he was always on the road. The alleged mistress added that the long periods of his dad's absence led Dwayne to becoming resentful. As a child, while he still had an interest in wrestling, something else caught his eye: girls. In his memoir, he revealed he experienced his first intimate act at the age of 14 with an 18-year-old girl. From there, he became relentless in his pursuit of bedding as many women as possible. In between all of that action, he was a troubled youth in other ways. He was filled with rage. He admitted to Metro website that he had been arrested 8 or 9 times by the time he was 16. He received a football scholarship to the University of Miami, and after joining the team, according to Rolling Stone magazine, he got into an argument with his teammate Kevin Patrick and tried to rip his tongue out. Dwayne wrote in his memoir, "If I hadn't been pulled off, I might have permanently scarred him." In 1991, 18-year-old Dwayne agreed to participate in a 9-person intimate act. Before heading to the boot-knocking festivities, he and his friends stopped at a bar. While there, he met 22-year-old Cuban-American college senior Danny Garcia. Dwayne was so interested in her that he skipped out on the hookup date. He wrote in his biography, "I knew immediately, this is the one for me. I know that sounds corny, but it's the absolute truth." They started dating, and Danny soon realized that Dwayne was battling all sorts of issues. She told the Washington Post he was good looking, but he had a huge ego. They once had a heated telephone conversation that included a lot of screaming, and then they hung up on each other. Danny expected him to call her back like he always did, but he couldn't because he had smashed his phone to smithereens. She told him he needed to get a hold of his temper, and he promised her it would never happen again. But while attending a family wedding, 6'5", 275-pound Dwayne tried to strangle a woman who he mistakenly thought had disrespected his dad. In his biography, he wrote, "This poor woman weighed about 120 pounds. I was moving her around like a rag doll, clearing glasses and dishes from the table with her body as she choked and gasped and scratched at my wrists." His anger wasn't his only problem. Danny's Cuban immigrant parents refused to meet him after learning about his African-American roots. In an interview, Dwayne said Danny's parents wanted her and her siblings to assimilate, adapt, and succeed, and in their minds, a person of color was an unsuitable partner. During his sophomore year in college, he and Danny moved in together, and they struggled to get by on Danny's salary from her entry-level job at a real estate firm. Meanwhile, Dwayne was drinking more than necessary. He wasn't too focused on school either and had a 0.7 GPA at one time. He was somehow able to graduate from college with a degree in criminology and had dreams of working as a Secret Service agent. But first, he wanted to give the NFL a shot. None of the teams were interested due to his excessive injuries, so he signed up for the Canadian Football League instead. According to Rolling Stone, he made $175 a week and slept on dirty mattresses. Realizing playing football wasn't the best idea, he bummed a ride to the airport and flew back to Miami with just $7 to his name. By that point, Danny was buried in debt. Dwayne tried contributing to their household by getting a job painting houses, but that gig didn't work out either. He and Danny broke up at some point, and Dwayne slipped into a depression. In an interview, he said, "I reached a point where I didn't want to do a thing or go anywhere. I was crying constantly." He and Danny reunited when he decided to follow in the footsteps of the men in his life by pursuing a professional wrestling career. According to the Washington Post, he had to relocate to Los Angeles, and he felt terrible leaving Danny behind with all the bills. But she told him, "I love you. Go pursue your dreams." He joined the WWF in 1996, and after deciding he wanted to spend the rest of his life with Danny, he finally met her parents to let them know about his plans. In 1997, after 6 years of dating, he and Danny became husband and wife, and her family finally accepted him as well. It's kind of interesting how they finally accepted him once he became a popular wrestler. Don't you agree? Anyway, he and Danny became husband and wife in 1997. He gave Danny credit for turning his life around with her unwavering, unconditional love. He wrote in his biography, "I've been down and poor, and she stuck with me. We're now sharing the success, knowing there's so much to live for." After they got married, Danny stayed behind in Miami. They spent up to 200 days apart every year due to his wrestling career. When asked by Rolling Stone if she was worried about being in a long-distance marriage, Danny said it was challenging, but she wasn't worried. Dwayne also made it clear Danny had nothing to worry about because he wasn't big on clubbing or going to gentlemen's clubs. However, he didn't deny that things were tough for them. Although they trusted each other, he stated, "It is extremely difficult for me to be out here with her in Miami. In terms of wanting a family and a relationship, okay, but other than that, we're on separate worlds." He and Danny welcomed their daughter Simone in August 2001. As Dwayne's career began to grow and the television and movie roles started pouring in, Danny was involved every step of the way. She told Marie Claire, "I was always in the background guiding him, giving counsel, and adding a business point of view to all the decisions." While Danny was the machine behind his career, Dwayne was out chasing tail. Allegedly. In May 2004, he allegedly met actress Robin Young at a lounge in Las Vegas. According to Robin, after talking for hours, he invited her to his suite, room number 61308 at the Mandalay Bay. Robin said when she arrived, he opened the door wearing a white towel wrapped around his waist. They got down to business, but Robin wasn't impressed. She called him lousy and alleged that he had a fetish that she wasn't down with. And for those who doubted her claims, Robin stated in a tweet that she had audio tapes to prove it. In the fall of 2006, he headed out to Boston to film the movie The Game Plan. While there, 34-year-old Dwayne met 22-year-old aspiring singer and Are You the Girl reality star Lauren Hashian. Witnesses spotted them several times at a local restaurant called Davio's while Dwayne was on location filming. And yes, he was still legally married to Danny at the time. He later told the Wall Street Journal that Lauren was newly single, and even though neither of them was looking for something, the quote, "power of the universe" took over. In June 2007, after 16 years together and 10 years of marriage, he and Danny separated. According to Dwayne's own timeline of events that he gave to Esquire magazine, Lauren moved in with him sometime that same year. In a joint statement sent to People magazine, he and Danny revealed that they would continue to work together on business deals and were looking forward to spending the rest of their lives as best friends and business partners. Their divorce was finalized in May 2008, and Danny didn't want or need a dime from Dwayne. She was still working as a financial advisor and was bringing home $700,000 per year. According to TMZ, she and Dwayne both agreed to contribute $5,000 per month to a trust fund for their daughter's private school, college education, and other living expenses. And Dwayne agreed to pay Danny a little over $22,000 per month in child support. They also kept their promise to remain best friends and business partners. She told Marie Claire that although they knew they were closing the door on their personal relationship, she would still work as his full-time manager. Dwayne and Lauren continued on with their relationship, and he later told People magazine, "I was so fortunate to have fallen in love once. To fall in love again? That's a hard thing to do twice in the position I'm in." Did that mean he was going to seal the deal and make Lauren wifey? Nope. Although the end of his first marriage was amicable, he told the Wall Street Journal his divorce did a number on him, and he was hesitant to walk down the aisle a second time. As for Danny, she found love again in 2014 when she married Dwayne's personal trainer, Dave Renzi. The week before Christmas 2015, Dwayne and Lauren welcomed their daughter, Jasmine. In 2017, Dwayne said he was ready to tie the knot, but then he and Lauren found out she was pregnant with baby number 2. Because she didn't want to have a big belly on their wedding day, they postponed the ceremony. Their second daughter, Tia, arrived in April 2018. In August 2019, after 2 kids and 12 years together, Dwayne was ready. They got engaged, and they decided to get married 72 hours later. His 2 youngest children were in attendance, but his eldest daughter wasn't present for the impromptu event. Their wedding took place at 8 in the morning because, according to Dwayne, he wanted to get it out the way, so he didn't miss his 8:30 a.m. workout. After news of their nuptials hit the internet, his alleged former mistress, Robin Young, congratulated them via a tweet and asked Dwayne to be more faithful to Lauren than he was to his first wife. These days, although he appears to have a thing for Megan Thee Stallion,
what celebrity would you want to be a pet to?
Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, that's a good one. Why Megan Thee Stallion?
Well, we don't have to talk about that.
He is happily committed to Lauren and is a devoted father to all 3 of his children, and we wish him nothing but the best. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to follow us on TikTok for more daily news updates and mini documentaries. And as always, thanks for watching RRG.